Talk to us about your race, Sunny. Very interesting race, and
Right.
very few days. I think 21 days left, right?
21 days left. 21 days left. Came to Wayne State, gone through every hard time you can name it. I am the only candidate, I think, in this race has a first-hand experience with the school, the kind of trouble students go through.
So, Sunny, you talked about affirmative action, and you're very, very passionate about the associated policies that you would like to, propose and things like that. But we live in America. This is the country where diversity and inclusion is something which is there in every sector, everywhere. Wherever we go, we talk about diversity, we talk about inclusion. What is it that you think is not happening right, or maybe we are just it's there in the books and it's not being implemented on the ground?
I love diversity. I am a colored person also. I love diversity. But you know what? What I don't like is in the name of diversity.
I read through your, that charter on the basis of which you are fighting this election for the Board of Governors of the Wayne State University. So how do you want to ensure that there is student participation in the decision-making process, which is also very transparent in nature?
Right. So let me explain you what I am thinking about is making sure that there is a board the student body should know. We have a student union, student body representation.
So, Sunny, you are involved with the Republican Party and its activities so closely. So, what kind of endorsements you have received for and the support for this particular race?
So, one of the major endorsement I just got it with the.
Hi, Sunny. Thank you so much for joining Gold Media. We are excited to talk to you today.
Thank you, same here, Supriya. And, nice meeting you, Aditya.
Yeah, I was going to say we have a wonderful host, very, very senior journalist, Aditya, all the way from New Delhi. And we are both looking forward for our interesting conversation today.
Thank you. Thank you, Supriya. So
talk to us about your race, Sunny. Very interesting race, and very few days. I think 21 days left, right?
21 days left. 21 days left. Let me tell you a little bit about my background, and then I can get into the race. Again, my name is Sunny Reddy. I've been living in Michigan for 35 years. I came to United States as a 20-year-old kid, 1990, January, as a F1 student. So came to Wayne State. Gone through every hard time you can name it. Very hardship. Within 1 year, I lost my mom. So I survived. Been through everything I don't want. So, but then I graduated in 1994. Ended up sending my wife also back to school. She went to Boston University. She was a dentist back home. She came here, then she went back to school. She finished. And with that, coming back today, I'm a successful businessman. I'm into both technology, real estate, as well as the telecom. So mainly I do telecom. So I am the only candidate, I think, in this race has a first-hand experience with the school, the kind of trouble students go through. None of them gone through what I've been through. So a little bit about this race, Aditya and Supriya, both of you guys. Michigan is one of the 4 states where the college board is elected by people across the state. So if you look at it, US congressmen, we have 13 congressional districts. My race covers pretty much all 13, not pretty much, but all 13 congressional districts. I traveled state, crisscrossed the state probably about 3 times. And Aditya, just to give you an example, from Michigan, from south to north, it takes about 14 hours from one end.
Right.
It's a big state. So I covered about 3 times, both east to west, north to south. So I met so many people. It's been 14 months now since I started my campaign. And I'm in the within the party, they say, I'm the most hardworking candidate so far.
Right.
I made so many friends also along the way. Great people. People love Michigan, love you once they know who you are. And it's people say, what, Michigan is a Switzerland of America. So we have an untouched land in the north. So that's what I did. And then coming back here, the Wayne State is one of the three universities in Michigan. Wayne State, Michigan State, and the University of Michigan. These three schools, the board is elected by people. So every election cycle, that means every 2 years, there is two openings. There are two openings. So this time there are two seats. There are 9 people competing for. But the main competition is going to be between the Democrats and Republicans. It's a partisan position. It's a voluntary position too. I should tell you guys, I don't get paid for this. It's a voluntary position. It's a partisan position. I'm running as a Republican, and I have a Democrat opponent. So the difference between I then myself and the rest of the candidates is none of the candidates went through what I did. They either came through social work or unions or, one of them is a by profession doctor, is running as a Republican. So I am the only full-time business owner. I will be the only full-time business owner in the board now. If I get elected, I'll be the only person. I strongly feel, what? The person who managed the university should have a business experience. And I have a very strong business experience. I'm very strong in ethical side. So we just celebrated actually my telecom company 20th year. Just to let you know, 10 of my employees also celebrated with me the 20th year.
Wow.
So that I believe in hiring a great people and keeping the great people. I don't believe in building the business. My employees will build the business. Same concept. I want to take it to the school. And I want to work with the staff, as well as the students and the parents. These are all partners, and want to build a great relationship. Okay, they are the one experiences whether it's a good or bad with the schools. Number one, students. Number two, parents and staff too. I mean, they involve everything. So I want to bring them. I want to make them as a partners. One of the thing I got when I went to school is a hardship, economical hardship. And the tuition is skyrocketing in this country. It's only one way, keep going up. Even this year also, they increased 3.5%. And they said this is a modest increase. But you know what? I think it should go other way around. The tuition should go down.
Right.
And I have a plan. I want to work with existing board, and I want to bring it down. One way to do that is, I can tell you, I've been graduated about 30 years ago. No one approached me if I can be any help for the school. And while discussing some of the departments approaching, but not as a school, not as a university. So I want to bring there are a lot of successful alumni. And I want to bring them, make them as a partner. There are two things they can do. They can bring their wealth, they can bring their experience, they can be a mentor for the graduating students.
Right.
So, and the second way is, you know what? I ran the business. I know how to control the cost without compromising the quality. And
Yes.
that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure that, you know what, we are not spending unnecessarily. So I want to go back and audit and meet the department just to make sure we are spending what required. The rest of the benefit should go back to students. That's my goal. And the second one is affirmative action is one of them. And like India, in this country also, we have a system called affirmative action. What it is your college admissions are not based on the merit. It's based on who you are, what race you belong to. Are you Asian? Are you African American? Are you Hispanic? Are you Middle Eastern? So that means it's the same thing as we have back home, we have reservations based on the caste system. In this country, we had school admissions based on a race.
Right.
And fortunately, Supreme Court decided not, he gave a declaration that they should not continue, they should not discriminate the merit-based students. It happened 2 years ago. But at the same time, they left the door open. They said, if you guys want to maintain the diversity, then find a different way. I want to make sure that different way is not going to be a backdoor policy. I want to make sure if I'm on the board, I want to make sure that all the students treated equally, irrespective of their race and color. And that's my other goal. The third one is a security. Wayne State being in downtown, we need a security. Just want to let you know, the people don't realize how important this race is. This race is about tomorrow's citizens, tomorrow's leaders. Okay. I am glad Michigan Constitution, this board is, they written that this board is elected by people, because that's the right way, because people are the one paying the taxes. People are the one paying for the school, not the governor. Governor should not appoint. And our governor tried to take it away, but I don't think it's going to happen. I hope it's not going to happen. And
Right.
People should have a right to elect the board. And
Well,
many
Sunny, if we can take that forward, you gave a brilliant introduction, and firstly, congratulations for fighting the good fight for this governance. And we really would want a technocrat to be there. And you had a long history, 35 to 40 years with Wayne State University, and now you have taken up this huge challenge. But let me take you back. Let me take
Sure.
you back to your student states and how you actually, in spite of all challenges, were there. And you mentioned something very, heart touching. You mentioned that you, during your student days, can I ask you, how difficult was it? You being alone, losing somebody so close to you all your life, and then also being in the university as a student, and also your experiences in the Wayne, State University. How important was this to shape your career, to shape your life in all?
Aditya, my mother was my role model. My mother was my mentor. My mother has a dream about me. My both parents are farmers. They didn't go to college. I'm the first person went to college in my family. And my mother and father, both hardworking people. My mother used to say, you know what? This hard work has to stop with us. I want you to go and educate yourself and succeed yourself. Go wherever you want to go. I don't want you to come back as a failure kid. That was my mother's dream. And I always remember when I lost my mother also, I was on F1 visa. I couldn't go. If I go back, I cannot come back. And my brother didn't tell me on the day. So you want to make sure that, so I was crying myself. I mean, it was a very hard for me. And my roommates, my friends helped me at that point of time. Of course, school provided me support. And it was not easy to overcome. I'll tell you my life when I was in school. Every semester, you pay for the semester, you think about how to get the money for the next semester. It's not easy. And being a foreign student, you pay full. So in this country, you have a in-state and out-of-state. Means if you live here in Michigan, you pay Michigan taxes, your parents paying Michigan taxes, you want to go to school, your fees is much lower, 1/4 of what out-of-state people pay. But as a foreign student, no matter how long you live, no matter what you do, you have to pay out of state. So you have to maintain certain number of credits. It was 9 credits at that time. You cannot take less than that. So you don't have a flexibility. You have to pay it. So the way we used to do that is, you know what, charge on the credit cards. Luckily, we had a credit cards with a 27% interest rate. You pay on the credit card, and you work hard during the semester, you pay off those, and then it will be ready to charge again for the next semester. And that was the life. It was not easy. And once I applied for the work permit, and I worked everywhere, you name it, I worked. Gas stations, McDonald's, Burger King, Domino's, I delivered the pizza. I was everywhere. And I have seen the hardship.
Right.
And that's why I said, you know what? Today's kids are lucky, actually, at least even the people who are coming here on F1, because our community grown. much bigger today. So they have a support, community support. We didn't have that. We didn't have that. All I knew is that two, three people, they are in suburbs. We used to live in the campus. We had no support at all. And you know what? Moreover, we didn't have a phones at that time. Just to let you know, cell phones
Yes.
was not affordable at that
Not the
time.
same.
And no social media.
No
So,
social media, no internet, no internet. The only way we used to get the news is some of my friends used to work in the Unix lab. They used
Yeah.
to they used to print and bring it, and we used to read.
so
So
Sunny, you talked about affirmative action, and you're very, very passionate about the associated policies that you would like to, propose and things like that. But we live in America. This is the country where diversity and inclusion is something which is there in every sector, everywhere. Wherever we go, we talk about diversity, we talk
right,
about inclusion.
right.
So, what is it that you think is not happening right, or maybe we are just it's there in the books and it's not being implemented on the ground?
So I love diversity. I am a colored person also. I love diversity. But you know what? What I don't like is in the name of diversity, you downgrading the standards. Okay. Simple. I'll give you an example. Recently, American Airlines, they announced that they want to increase the diversity. My message to American Airlines, you know what? Clarify that you are not downgrading the standards. Otherwise, I'm not going to fly in American Airlines. I'm not putting my life in jeopardy. Because if you want to downgrade the standard in the name of diversity, I'm sorry, you know what? I cannot afford. Same thing with the doctors. Same thing with the doctors. You know what? If I have to have a surgery, I want to make sure that the doctor has knowledge. So
Okay.
let's not downgrade the standards. Let's maintain. I agree 100%. You know what? Especially the most disadvantaged kids are inner city kids. We need to start helping them at the school level,
Right.
not at the college level. We need to maintain. Let them be compete. I'll tell you, Wayne State last year, I was talking to my colleague. The graduation rate went down. You know what they did? They removed the math requirement so that more people can graduate.
Right.
You know what? You are not helping the students. How are they going to compete when they graduate from the college without having a proper knowledge, without having a proper knowledge to compete? You know what? I'll tell you, 20, 25 years ago, Michigan used to be very good. People used to say, hey, if you don't have a job, go to Michigan, you'll find something, because we were the automotive capital of the world.
Right.
Absolutely.
Today, Michigan kids not only competing with their neighbors, they are competing with the kids across the world, a kid in India, kid in China, everywhere. So if you take out the requirement, you making them a graduate, are you helping or hurting? You know what? What I would do, I would provide them an extra help, extra class, maybe a tuition, maybe bring somebody, making sure that this kid learns before he graduates. That's what my goal. And that's what I want.
Sunny, you mentioned something very interesting. You mentioned that extra help, that important helping hand that is required for the students to graduate, really.
Sure.
And math being removed being a very interesting
Right.
step that was taken. But, I read through your, that charter on the basis of which you are fighting this election for the Board of Governors of the Wayne State University.
Sure.
You also mentioned about decision making. These days, students are much more aware.
Right.
And they want to be participative.
Right.
So one of the things is the decision making at the university itself.
Right.
And the kind of gap that can either widen or there can be bridging of gaps that can happen. So
Right.
how do you want to ensure that there is student participation in the decision making process, which is also very transparent in nature?
Right.
And finally, one thing that you talked about in the introduction, more visibility and more role of the alumni of the Wayne State University in the growth story of the university itself.
Right.
So student participation and the role of the alumni in this entire process.
Right. So let me explain you what I am thinking about is bringing making sure that there is a board, the student body should know. We have a student union, student body representation. I want to make sure that they bring them on board. I want to also, every time nobody propose this, I want to make the parents as a partners. They are the one paying the tuition. They are the one paying the taxes too. You know what? Wayne State is a what do you call public university. That means whether you send your kid or not, to the college or not, you paying for it. Every citizen in Michigan will pay for it. So I want to make sure these people are aware of it. I want to make sure that I want to make sure that every parent knows what this college is doing. Every student is part of it in a decision making, especially the ones which affects them. Tuition is one of them. Directly affects them. When you increase the tuition, probably I wish, I'm not sure how today's decisions were taken, but I want to make sure that I want to go back and audit and see, try my best to see if I can reduce the cost and come up with the either same or even reduce it. I mean, as I said again, alumni is a great way to bring him back. I signed up myself. I know what the hardship. I signed up myself as a donor. What they have is a committed every month, certain amount goes from my bank automatically. So I signed up myself. Nobody called me. I said, you know what, let me do something. But you know what, if I can bring them back, I've been talking to the alumnus, they are interested in. They want to go back. They love the school they graduated from. And the people come back and told me, you know what, I am glad you're running because I went to that school. I want that school to be one of the best. Every alumni, they don't mind coming back. They don't mind coming back as bringing their wealth, bringing their knowledge, or be a mentor for students. There are so many people. I want to bring them back.
Right. So, Sunny, you are a prominent member of Indian American community here and probably one of the most successful people here. So, what kind of support you have been getting from the Indian American community for this race, and what is it that you're still seeking?
So, a couple of things I want to clarify. I am the only Indian American running a statewide election in this election cycle in Michigan. Okay. Wow. I am the only Indian American running as a Republican this time, total elections in Michigan.
Wow.
So those are two unique things. And there are some of the people running for a state rep as a Democrats, but not more than that. Mine is a statewide election. And want to let you know, Dr. Kumar is on the board.
Right.
He is from Pune. He's a urologist. He's on the board. He's on the other side. He's a Democrat. But just I want to appreciate him. He is crossing the lines to help me. Openly, he's made sure that he said, Sunny, I need you on the board. We need to fix the schools. That's what he said. And I really appreciate, I want to thank Dr. Anil Kumar. But we are working together. Just to let you know, Indian Americans are the richest ethnic community in America by far. You know what the problem with Indian Americans? We are a 9-to-5 families. We are well-to-do with the financially, way above the average income. But end of the day, the reason I call them 9-to-5 families, we go out at 9 o'clock to the office, come back at 5 o'clock. After that, we forget the world, our kids, our life, our thing.
Yeah.
Problem with that one is, we are looking at the short term, but if you look at a long term, our kids are going to suffer if we don't fix these problems. Not just the Indian American kids, but entire kids. These kids are going to live here. I was telling other day, in a small group, we were talking about it, and I asked one question. You know what? For Indian politics, we fight, we lose the relationship just with arguments in Indian politics. The question is, we can't even vote. We can't make a difference in India, but here we can make a difference. Here we can create a better life for our kids. That's what my request to each and every NRI in this country. We need to participate. We need to let them know there is a community called Indians, Asian Indians. We need to let them know that we are here We are part of this society. We want to help build, make America great again. That's what my message, that's what my request to all the NRIs. We need to start
Sunny,
working. We need to put a pathway to the next generation.
You mentioned something amazing, the kind of camaraderie that is from Dr. Kumar, from a Democrat for a Republican,
Right.
which is rare to see, in a deeply divided world, and in particular, in a deeply divided election in the United States. So if I can ask you about the national election scene, where, of course, you are having a fierce, election, but also there's a fierce debate and a fierce election happening on the national election scene between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, the former president of the United States. So, how do you see this election, heading? We just have a few days or weeks left now. How's the momentum gaining in Michigan? I was in Michigan a couple of years ago or so, and I saw a lot of warmth from people, but people very politically aware as well. So, how do you see the national election scene, and do you also think that this is going to be a fierce election till the very end?
It's going to be a very close election.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just let me talk about the Michigan. Michigan, Kamala Harris was leading before. Now Donald Trump is leading Michigan. The message is getting across. Okay. Kamala does not have any plan. She was nowhere last 3.5 years. Nobody knew where she was, actually, literally. Okay. Suddenly, we call it as a coup because she was not involved in primaries. She had no experience. She didn't even raise a single penny. And she got a nomination. And that's not the democratic process, but she got the nomination. Short term, basically Democrats had no choice, no hope. And they were desperately looking for somebody. That somebody was a Kamala. But now people are started realizing I'll tell you, in this country, the media did an excellent job for making Donald Trump as a villain. That's what they did. Excellent job. They did excellent job making him a villain. Every news outlet. Okay. Almost 2 times, and recently, yesterday also it happened. On his attempt on his life, right? 2 times happened. If this would have been happened on the Democrat side, things would have been different. Okay. They went after him for last 4 years, each and every possible case. I say, you know what? I'm a Republican. I do have my own reservations, some of them. It's not but Donald Trump is a Donald Trump. There are not a lot of Republican leaders also may not be happy, but this is not the time. I think this country, I'll tell you, simple example, as an Indian American, it took me almost 15 years to become the citizen by going through legal process, following every step. Yeah. Today, America is the only country which do not have a border. Anybody could walk in. You know what we are doing? If somebody walks in, we're going to give them a $4,000 check every month and put them in a 5-star hotel if possible. And then pretty much guaranteed, I was told that they're going to get the citizenship in 4 years so that next election probably they can start voting for Democrats. And that's the plan. And that's the way. I'll tell you, every Indian American should realize that because of illegal immigrants, the process for processing for the green card, I was just listening to podcast in the morning. It's going to go to close to 100 years. That means they don't see the green card if the way things are going on right now. Green cards also have a quota system.
Yes.
Donald Trump promised that he will try to introduce the knowledge-based, merit-based. So if for especially the students who does PhD, probably they may get directly green card. And that's the way it should be. This country built with the smart immigrants. Okay. And recently the hurricanes happened. Kamala said, we are paying $750, but we are paying $4,000 to the illegal immigrants. So sad the way things are going on. So sad. You know what? I am not against anybody. But there is a process, there is a way. Let them come in, follow the rules. The first step they are doing is violating this country rule. Okay. So recently, in fact, actually, last night I was watching a news. Sheriff caught the illegal immigrants coming from the Venezuela, coming from other countries. They're robbing the places you never heard in the past.
Yes, yes.
And then we
Yeah.
keep hearing those things.
Sunny, you mentioned about this illegal immigration, which is a very critical issue, not just for the United States, but world over. Look at
Right.
what's happening in Europe.
Right.
And you also, brought in a very critical analogy between crimes that are happening, terrorism that is happening, often radicalization that is happening, along with, this illegal immigration not following the rules and sovereignty of countries. But I want to ask you a related question. That India and US ties that have been also very critical. We have a strategic partnership.
Right.
Do you think that just like it was when Donald Trump was president for the first time, that Trump presidency will immensely help this strategic dialogue and a strategic bilateral relation to be taken forward in a positive direction, especially in areas of trade, business, technology, and people-to-people contact, as comparison to Kamala Harris?
Right. Let me tell you, both of them are a nationalist, actually. Trump is a nationalist, Modi is a nationalist. Of course, their interest is the country first.
Right.
For Modi, make in India, right? For Trump, make America great again. But at the same time, India being the largest democracy, America being the oldest democracy. They've been always close relationship, but unfortunately, we didn't see that last 3.5 years. Definitely, it's going to come back. Definitely, it's going to come back. I've been talking to some of the folks inside. In fact, Vivek is involved pretty much high level this time. Okay. So there are some people involved, and definitely the relationships are going to be much better. Also, I'll tell you, majority of us, we are conservatives. We are a center right, actually. Our families, our parents taught us how to work hard, how to not to depend on the government, how to take care of yourself, how to help others. These are the things we learned, and they are closely aligned with the Republicans than the Democrats. Democrats' policy is a socialism. If you look at far left, Kamala was a far left.
Yes.
They basically give them the money. Venezuela, look at the Venezuela situation today. That's what it's going to happen. So on the Republican side, no, they help the small businesses, reduce taxes, reduce the government size. And that's what the policy is. Definitely, I think it's going to, I'm hoping that the relationship between India and United States is going to be far better than what we have today.
Right. So, Sunny, you are involved with the Republican Party and its activities so closely. So, what kind of endorsements you have received for and the support for this particular race?
So one of the major endorsement, I just got it with the Detroit News, which is a very well-known news. It's probably over 100 years since it's established. They endorsed me recently, last week itself. So that's a big deal for me.
Congratulations on that,
Thank you.
Sunny.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for such engaging conversation with us. And we wish you good luck for this candidacy.
Thank you, Supriya and Aditya. Looking forward to see you when I come to India. But give me a call. Next time when you are in the United States, give me a call.
Absolutely. Pleasure interacting with you and looking forward to meet you. All the very best.
Thank you. Thank you, Aditya.
All
Thank
the
you.
best, Sunny.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.